Today in the crypto space, we see Bitcoin still holding strong right around $68,000. Ethereum right around 2,600, looking pretty good as well. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, a mix of green and red. We have some good gainers like Doge and Bonk. However, we do have a few dips. Aptos coming down ever so slightly, Phantom as well, and a few others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that could be gearing up for another move to the upside. And it is a project that I covered quite a bit in the past. Is this the time to buy some Neon? You know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. We can see that the overall market cap is doing pretty good here, guys. Slow grind to the upside, still at about $2.4 trillion. Nice and healthy. Trading volume, on the other hand, in the last little while, did come down just a bit, meaning that we're slowing down. Market participation is slowing down. I would love to see a higher high and keep on going to the upside here with regard to trading volume, so we can see the market cap basically showing us that market participation is in accordance with this rise in market cap, which would be good. We want more inflows. We want more capital entering the space. We want those higher highs and those higher lows. So we're going to have to show a bit of patience here for this market. In the meantime, we do see Bitcoin full on making those higher highs and higher lows, still grinding to the upside slowly. It's up 11.1% in the last 7 days. Ethereum doing okay also. Like, we want Ethereum to do a lot better given the fact that it is a lower cap project, obviously. But in the meantime, we're still okay. It is up 8.8%. We want to see some major moves out of Ethereum. Without Ethereum making major moves, the market is going to be very, very hesitant. As we keep on going down, guys, we see BNB looking good, Solana looking good, and many other projects. Doge is doing amazing, 10% to the upside for the day, pretty good there. We have AVAX retracing down 2.7%. Maybe that's an opportunity there, guys, for for those of you that are bullish on AVAX to be buying a bit of a dip, right? We could get further continuation to the downside, but AVAX at the current moment is, in my opinion, is gearing up for a nice move. So big picture, I think AVAX is a good pick for sure. And as we keep on going down, you can see a lot of altcoins still grinding to the upside, still making higher highs and higher lows, still trying to make those those bigger expansions to the upside. Near protocol rolling over a little bit. Yeah, obviously we see some of these altcoins coming down approximately 2%, give or take. Aptos a bigger dip than expected. However, it's okay because Aptos has been doing great, phenomenally in the last little while. Yes, it's down 6.6%. And guys, if you are on the Discord, I made you aware that Aptos at that moment was getting a bit of resistance, and it could be that it gets a pullback. And guess what, guys? It did get a pullback. So now we have to prepare for the dip and where we're going to get that support for Aptos for continuation up. Ultimately, we're waiting for the rest of the market to kind of get that figure as well, because we are seeing a few dips. Like, look at Tau, down 4.5%. Now, it's not a major dip, but it is a bit of relief, to the downside. We have FET, 3%. Caspa still grinding away there, going sideways. Not a good look for Caspa the way it looks right now at the current moment. It does look like maybe it wants to form a bottom, but there's no indication of that just yet. It's still in a very bearish stance. So I'm keeping my eyes open for Caspa. As soon as I see some strength from the Caspa camp, definitely we'll start looking for entries. Stellar XLM, what else do we have? Doing good. It's doing good, 2%. Stacks up 2%, and many others doing still good. You got to look at the big picture structure here. You can see that we're still making higher highs and higher lows across the market. Although we are in a pullback on some cases, like for example, Arbitrum is still fine. Yes, it's down 0.8%, but it's still doing good. And again, Mantle, VeChain, Cosmos, even Say Okay, it did break down below this local low. I know that looks bad. Let's see if we can break to the upside again and make a higher high above these two tops. If it does, we're good. You know, we basically were able to buy a 4 or 5% dip and then continuation to the upside. So it's all about time frames, of course, and what's happening with the overall market sentiment. Like Thorchain's doing great, it's doing fine. And we have Bonk, of course, is doing good. Big Ed token, we're looking at those centralized exchange tokens. They're still doing okay. Of course, some are looking weaker than others. But generally speaking here, guys, we're doing good still. The market is still okay. As soon as we see signs of weakness and things start to look like helium, where we're making lower lows and lower highs, then we worry. But at this current moment, we're still okay. Slow and steady. Trail up the stop losses. Take a bit of profit. You know, still hunt for those bottom dwelling altcoins. And of course, here on the channel, that's what we do, guys. We look for bottom dwelling altcoins. Guys, don't forget, I am live at 8 p.m. EST talking about crypto news and price action. There's a great time and place for you guys to join live. Make the requests on any projects that you may have, and I'll definitely pull up some charts, and we'll look for entries, we'll look for setups. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at some of this price action. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin looking at Bitcoin. What's going on with Bitcoin? Bitcoin, at the end of the day, showing tons of strength, no matter what the bears say. Ultimately, Bitcoin is showing a lot of strength. The reality is, we are at a level of which we should expect a bit of resistance. However, the fact that we're here right now is bullish. Now we're worried: do we get rejected? Do we come down to lower levels, or do we expand to the upside and start looking for major expansions to the upside where we can start hitting some bullish price targets? Maybe 120, maybe 130. Who knows how high we go? But first, we got to deal with this current scenario, the battle right here between 73 and 70k. All right, guys, let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Look, the reality is that a lot of us understand that, you know, trading, there's no real science behind it. It's a game of probability. That's all it is. And the probability is right now, you know, statistically speaking, looking at the previous data, you know, it suggests that we do get a rejection, and it's very possible that we get that rejection. I anticipate and I understand the possibility. However, guys, the fact is that we've been, you know, chipping away at this level for a good while. We've came up here multiple times. Yes, I understand it's lower lows, you know, and lower highs, and we're in a downtrend. But as soon as you start zooming out, again, I'm going to do this every once in a while for you guys. Zoom out, look at what this looks like. It looks like a big cup and handle. So we have to understand that this structure, although it's retractive, in the big picture, it's nothing. It didn't even come down to the 0.5 Fibonacci or anything like that. So we're doing okay. Now, the fact is that we're coming up here. Now, we could be setting up for the biggest short squeeze ever. And when you get short squeezes, it's usually we get some, you know, very strong price action, parabolic price action. Because as the market makers basically, you know, cause the price to go up, we start hunting levels of liquidity. Here, stop losses get triggered. Here, stop losses get triggered. Here, stop losses get triggered. Liquidity zones get triggered. People get liquidated. People get wrecked. And as that happens, coins, Bitcoins, actually enter back into the market. And that causes people to buy. It causes the price to go up. It causes the FOMO, the FOMO, where people start fearing to miss out on, you know, the major expansion to the upside. And bit by bit, you know, Bitcoin could start squeezing to the upside. And this is what happens usually in these moments. And you can see that it would be an ideal moment for it to happen because it would induce a bit of pain. Most people think that max pain only exists when people get liquidated. But what about the pain that is induced when people miss the boat? When people miss getting in, basically buying the dip, accumulating, and they have no exposure to the Bitcoin volatility or to the crypto space in general once the market starts to fly. That is painful. Probably equally as painful as getting liquidated, because really you're watching everybody celebrate and you've been looking at charts, planning your attack, basically wanted to buy dips, but you didn't pull the trigger. And it really does affect you psychologically. So at this current moment, what I'm going to say is this: you run the risk. You run the risk of, you know, seeing this thing, Bitcoin price, it actually expand and get into a short squeeze scenario, and run the risk of not having any exposure if you do not. So, and also, you know, piling in with, you know, all you got and going in heavy, also you run the risk by getting rejected right here. This is the issue with buying tops. This is the issue with trying to find entries in green candles like this. And this is the reason why I emphasize bottoms so much more. As you know, if you look at this green arrow, this is when I said you should be buying the dip. This is when I was taking risk, DCAing, and I got into my DCA strategy where I was buying every Friday. I was deploying capital all into this level. We were getting bullish divergence. We're finally getting follow through. We're not even overbought yet, guys. So for those bears that are out there, it's not done yet. There's no confirmed reversal here whatsoever, right? We might even get a double top like we've done here, or a triple top like we've done here, you know, or here, or something like that. Right now, there's nothing to suggest that we're going to get, you know, a blow off top and come down. That the blow off tops don't really happen in these levels, right? So we're not overbought. We see momentum in the trend definitely shifting to the upside. But more importantly, guys, this was the entry. This was the opportunity to get in at a healthy risk to reward ratio. Now, it doesn't mean that you had to get in on Bitcoin, but at least start looking for those bottom dwelling altcoins. And that's what we specialize here on the channel. We look for altcoins for where we can get in at a great risk to reward ratio, get ourselves into some volatility in a direction that makes our portfolio proud. Ultimately, now it's a bit scary. If you get into an altcoin right now, and Bitcoin definitely gets rejected here, that position is going to be hurting all the way down. You're going to get into the red. You're going to be holding that red bag. So there's an issue. Do we get in or we don't? I say have a bit of exposure. DCA, maybe get in with 10% of your bag, maybe get in with 15, maybe 20, no more than that. If it does pull back, get into some more. But better yet, the opportunity in the altcoin market still exists. Some altcoins didn't even leave the station. Bitcoin is almost in price discovery if you think about it. Okay, so let's move on. Today's video is about Neon. I want to focus a little bit on Neon. Now that we talked about Bitcoin, we can definitely apply some of this theory that we just talked about, considering where Bitcoin's at. Considering where Bitcoin's at, what do we do with the altcoins? Guys, I just finished telling you that we should be looking for bottom dwellers. Does Neon look like it's in price discovery or even at a level of resistance or anything like that on the daily? If you compare the Bitcoin chart in comparison to the Neon chart or even the Binance chart, go take a look at the Binance chart. You'll see what I mean. These projects have done well. You know, they're already up here looking for price discovery. Whereas Neon, if you're into the narrative, you know, the EVM compatibility narrative, the reality is Neon is doing good in the short term, but still pretty poorly regarding its massive retracement back to the bottom levels. So that gives you either an opportunity or you're taking too much risk. But if you think about it, if you can have a scenario where your risk to reward ratio is healthy because you can put a stop loss at a very visible zone, I think this is a much better strategy because ultimately you're buying bottoms. You're not, you know, buying tops. You're not looking for breakouts. You're buying bottoms. Now let's take a look at where Neon is at the current moment. You can see that I did put in these green arrows, and I made this green arrow bigger, emphasizing the importance of this zone to potentially take a bit of risk. And, you know, I stopped talking about it because, of course, I gear towards the community. The community votes. The community has a lot of influence on what I choose to talk about here on the channel. And based on, you know, interest, people have been looking the other way. Now, fine, they're looking the other way, but as soon as Neon starts to move, people are going to be getting back to, you know, what's going on with Neon. Look at the volume. What do you think is happening here? This volume suggests that people are saying what's going on with Neon. And right now, Neon, the big picture, as you, like I showed you, it's not at the top. It's still waking up. It's coming up from, you know, hibernation. It's proof of life. It got rejected off the 200 daily. Okay, that's fine. That's accepted. It's acceptable to see the price get rejected at levels that, you know, usually get respected, right? But ultimately, what we do is build structure. We build structure that we can get confident in. And the confidence will come in with the confluence of many indicators. But ultimately, what we want to see is a change of character, which we are slowly building. If you look at what happened here, we popped to the upside very, very nicely. We broke above the previous high and we made a higher low, higher highs and higher lows. Clearly a higher high on this local price action. This is starting to look like a pivot point structure. Now, it doesn't mean that this little structure has to be the pivot point, because look, this is the right shoulder. This could be the head. Okay, and maybe we do come up a little bit more, get rejected, and come down for that right shoulder. Guys, we have to anticipate that could be possible. Many projects at the current moment are doing this. We had a Lithium, we have a Mint Layer, we have Tectum is doing pretty good, but still, we have a lot of projects making these complex pivot point structures at the bottom of the range range transitioning from bearish, let me show you again, from bearish, right, downwards to bullish to upwards, and that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. We get lots of price action, peaks and valleys, confirmations in order to get bullish, in order to see people get in with bigger position sizes, deploying capital. We need to see more confirmation. So this is where the magic begins for Neon and many other projects in the space. We start to see pivot point structures at very important horizontal levels of support. And as you can see, this was a very interesting level because of this price action right here gave us a node of volume to bounce off of. And this horizontal line right here at about 40 cents was the bottoms down here, which also gave us a little bit of a level to expect the bounce off of. And guess what, guys? If you scaled in here and here, anywhere in this red box, this was the time to take a bit of risk. Now, what could we expect? We could expect a back test, like I just mentioned, a back test of this left shoulder area right around here, the point of control at about 35 cents. That's very possible here, guys. But what about if it starts to take off? What about if it breaks above the 200 daily and it continues to the upside? Okay, that's very, very, very interesting. You have to look at that as a statistical probability. And if you do not have any exposure and you are fundamentally bullish on Neon, I would definitely consider a DCA strategy right now. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to buy absolutely at the current moment. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of these oscillators. On the daily, we're overbought already. There's no signs of divergence. We didn't get one here, but look at this quick reversal. Very similar. Quick reversal, overbought. But you can see that there's a clear trend in the momentum. The momentum definitely went like this, straight up, very nicely, rolling to the upside. Now, do we hang out here for a little bit? Do we get a bit of a pullback? To be honest, going into a fresh long at the current moment is quite dangerous. I get it. So this is why I've been looking at the 4-day the last little while. Because if the daily is overbought, but the 4-day is giving us more opportunity to continue up, all we have to do is wait for the daily to get reset and take another shot at it, another attempt to buy in on a retracement or some sort of horizontal support. Again, back to maybe 40 cents. That's very possible, or maybe a little bit higher, maybe about 45. What I'm considering, what I want to see is this right shoulder, and I want to see a bigger confirmation low, a higher low. Okay, so that's what we got to take a look at. Now you can see that the momentum, the trend, look at this trend. EMA is facing up, green histogram bars, everything's looking good. We had a bullish divergence to the upside here on trend, and as we were coming down in price action, as you can see, the expansions of the trend were getting weaker in the sense that the bears were showing weakness, and the momentum was also showing us the same thing. So this is where we get all these little confirmations to suggest that this might be a reversal in both momentum and trend. And that's really what we look for, especially myself as a momentum trader. I want to see a shift in the momentum. I'm tired of the bearish momentum. I want to see a shift in momentum to the bullish side. Now, if you look at the 4-day, let's see if we get anything here. You could see that the 4-day is looking primed as well. We got a full reset on the 4-day. This is big picture moves that I'm talking about here, guys. I'm talking about moves for the bull run. I'm not talking about 15-minute, 5-minute scalps. I'm talking about positions, building bigger positions for the momentum shift to the upside. Look at the momentum is slowly moving. Look at the purple line is slowly rolling to the upside. Okay, now volatility did get overbought. I get it. It's at 80% right now. But ultimately, look at the expansion, the bearish expansion. It's slowly getting smaller and smaller and tapering in. Look at the trend oscillator. EMA is facing up. We got green histogram bars. We got bullish divergences everywhere. And we're seeing that these expansions to the downside are getting smaller and smaller over time. So what does that suggest? That suggests that on the 4-day big picture, and we got to understand that a lot of these oscillators and indicators work a lot better on the larger time frames. But what we can say is that the daily, although it is right now potentially overbought here on Neon, guys, expect resets and continuations because the 4-day is still looking bullish. The 4-day is giving us signals across the market that we are looking for a bigger picture expansion, bigger picture moves that could potentially bring Neon and many other altcoins and many other projects back to previous highs and basically all-time highs price discovery. That's basically what we're looking for. So make sure that you, once in a blue moon, just zoom out, look at the big picture structures, look at the momentum. Yeah, it's fine to trade the smaller time frames, but you don't want to miss out on the big moves because the big moves are what brings life-changing gains. All right, guys, I hope I offered you some value here. If I did, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the social socials. The links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.